How to make money in crypto depends on one thing. And if you understand this one thing, then you'll know when to buy and when to sell. And today we're going to cover the theory, but then relate it to Bitcoin. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let's dive into the theory, followed by Bitcoin's price action. How to make money in crypto, the core basics. The first thing you want to know is that the markets are driven by fear and greed and crowd psychology. Sometimes the technology will be better, but the price will be lower. How can that be? Well, it's all crowd psychology playing out. So the market typically breaks down into a 5-wave structure. And what you want to really be aware of is when you should be buying on this 5-wave structure, and then what typically happens next on the price. And why? And I'm going to talk you through this because I'm telling you, it's the game changer that will separate you from the losing crowd, because 90% of people tend to lose money. So the best times to buy is when you can spot what's called a wave 2. It's basically you have this big buying behavior. It often gets overheated. This was like 2017. Crypto markets got overheated, and then there tends to be a big sell-off, and it's called a wave 2. And this is also referred to as a correction. It's like the market gets overvalued and it needs to correct to where it should be. But normally it overcorrects, and then we get the next surge. So one of the best times to buy is when you can spot this pattern. And the macro picture looks like this. I'm going to show you that later on when we look at the Bitcoin chart. Then what tends to happen is a wave 3. Now, wave 3s tend to be the most aggressive, most impulsive, profit-making waves. And you ideally want to hodl, as in hold on for dear life, during that whole run. So this is the most aggressive wave. Now, what typically occurs after wave 3 is a profit-taking wave 4. This normally breaks down into a 3-wave structure in itself. And we saw this with Bitcoin back in April 2021 to around June, July 2021. We had this nice wave 4. And then we tend to have this final wave 5. And you want to be on high alert when you see this. And again, you'll see this on a macro scale. We're seeing this on a macro scale right now. We'll dive into that in just a second with Bitcoin. But then on an intermediate and micro scale as well. Why do you want to be on high alert for a wave 5? Well, wave 5 tends to be based on the emotion of euphoria and hopium. It's fingers crossed. And a lot of people get burnt in wave 5s, mainly because a lot of retail investors, uneducated crowd, come in at this point. Why is that a bad thing? Well, what typically occurs after a wave 5 is a correction. And the correction is normally a 3-wave correction. It's called a counter trend. And it normally looks something like this. This is the theory. And you're going to be bamboozled at how accurately this is applying to Bitcoin right now on a macro picture. And we're going to tie that all in. So when the market moves in 5s and 3s, the upside, the first 5-wave, is referred to as an impulsive trend. And then the downside 3-wave correction is a corrective trend. So how do you make money in crypto? And all markets, by the way, is not unique to crypto. Commodities, stocks, Forex, this psychology applies time and time again, is you want to start getting aware of this pattern structure. Yeah? So let's dive into Bitcoin, and I'm going to relay back to this as well. But before I do, I want to introduce you to our Black Friday and Cyber Monday offer. We are so excited about this. 50% off of our 2 best-selling products. Let me actually go to the website and I'll show you. We've got our 4 Secrets collection, which is basically all my training, all the stuff that you're seeing broken down from a foundation, intermediate to an advanced level. We've already had it discounted at $197, and now you're going to get a further 50% off. We also have a done-for-you trading service. For a licensed and regulated broker, me and my company, we trade for you, making money on the way down, short in the market, but also on the way up. So check this out. It's in the link below. We've got until Monday. So as you're watching this video, it's around 6.5 days remaining. Very, very exciting. Take advantage of this. Take advantage of this. It's Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So we thought, you know what, we'll add a bit of extra value for you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dive into Bitcoin. Right. So this is the price action for Bitcoin, and it's going from 2017 to now, right? And I'm just going to get rid of the bar chart, as in the lines. But what does this look like? Well, if we just bring this back up and just go back a slide, look at this, the theory, in terms of crowd psychology, an impulsive 5-wave sequence followed by a 3-wave correction. Well, what I didn't cover is what typically occurs next. Well, after a three-wave correction, you typically get a continuation of the former trend. In other words, from a theory perspective, and we're going to see this again, it's pretty much a certainty. We got this high over here. After this completes down here, you'll typically get a continuation of the former impulsive trend, which means the price going to new highs. So why is that important to know? Well, it's really important to know that this here is like a macro wave 2. In other words, you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of what's called a wave 1. Like it breaks down, we like summarize it, it's almost it gets rounded up to a wave 1. And then this ABC, just like we saw this initial move up and initial move down, this is a macro wave 2. So in other words, it's a big move up and a big move down, and you'll typically get a continuation, right, of the former trend. So now when we're relating that to Bitcoin, again, this is the price, this is the actual price data of Bitcoin since 2017, but I've just simplified it with the lines. What can we see? Well, we've had this amazing bull run in 2017, big correction, including COVID down here. Then we had this huge surge with wave 3, the most impulsive wave. It got overheated. A wave 4, very steep correction, profit taking. And then this 5-wave, 5th wave, hopium. A lot of retail investors would have come in over here and then got burnt. Why? Because typically what happens is that 3-wave correction. And we had this big move to the downside, which we pegged. You know, if you watch back my October, November videos in 2021, we were looking for this. And then the B and then the final C. So it looks like with Bitcoin, it looks like we might be in the final stages over the next few months of this correction. So it's going to be brutal. The news is going to be brutal. It's going to be a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. There's going to be a lot of panicking, a lot of depression. A lot of people will go burnt. You know, if you put in, I don't know, 50 grand up here, you probably is worth like 5 grand down here. So it's going to be a tough market. But this psychology plays out. So what I want to just finish on is what typically occurs next after a 5-wave structure. And we're going to get a bit precise here as well. When I say bit precise, you'll see what I mean in just a second. So let's just bring up the price data as well. So you can see the price is for real. What will typically occur next, I want to draw it like this, is you'll tend to get a continuation of the former trend. And it will tend to be bigger than the former trend. So even if I just do it like this, so we can even draw it the same, like this, and get the lines in like so. What will typically occur is something like this, right? Where the market cap will probably go to like $5 trillion plus of the whole crypto market. And this whole movement, the next bull run, is like an expansion of the former trend. In other words, this whole 5-wave sequence here, it's almost like becomes a wave 1 in itself. This 3-wave correction becomes a wave 2, and this new trend tends to become the new wave 3, and it tends to be quite aggressive to the upside. So how do you make money in crypto? Well, it's to know that it moves through these cycles and trends, which is independent from the technology itself. In other words, the technology stack is improving, but the price is coming down. How can that be? Well, it's fear and greed and psychology just playing out. So one last thing we're going to do over here with Bitcoin is we're just going to zoom into this part, because I did a recent video, and I've been talking about this for months now, in terms of this pattern structure we said it's called corrective, and there's a particular price ratio that will typically fall into, and I just want to quickly do that. And you would have seen this in my previous video. Let's just clean this up. I'm just going to show you this, the typical price range that we are likely to see Bitcoin go to, and I'm showing you this because it will probably be near the end of a major trend, right? And we're talking about where the price is right now, around $15,000, $16,000, and as low as around $13,000 is the most typical common price behavior when you see this happening. This is called a correction behavior, and then this move to the downside. We are anticipating next maybe 1 or 2 months for this to end. But when it does, and we get some type of follow through to the upside, then we might be on to a brand new bull trend that may last many months and maybe even a few years. So check out the Cyber Monday and the Black Friday 50% off My courses are phenomenal. Get great feedback with the courses. Appreciate all my students. You get an invite to my private Telegram group. We do weekend workshops. We've got a done for you service. Check it out. So you can kind of click on the learn more, and it just breaks it down for you. And everything you get. We've been working so hard in the back end on all of this as well. So you can just check it out and enjoy it. Enjoy it. Get the discount and take advantage of it. So let's finish on a quote of the day. Let's go with, I normally read a quote from my book, but I like this one because it's really relevant, because today is about how to make money in crypto. And it's really about buying and selling, knowing when to buy and when to sell. Now, you might not be able to pick the exact bottom and the exact top, but by knowing the basics, the 4 secrets, which I cover in the training, you will know and get a good feel for when we're getting overheated. So you should know when to start taking profits and when not to be buying. And when, if you know how to short the market, which is making money on the way down, when to be doing that and how to structure it as well. So we're going to finish with this. The trend is your friend. Ride it until its end, until it reaches its bend. The trend is currently down. So I'm really considering mainly short positions right now. We're shorting Solana, we're making good profits there. We're shorting a few others as well. We just shorted Litecoin, so we're making good profits there, and we'll see how that unfolds. But when we do get the trend reversal, if you don't know how to short the market, it will be just buying the underlying asset and holding for the market and knowing that we're probably going to hit all-time new highs over the next few years. So if you can understand that, then you know more than 90% of individuals out there that cycles and trends are natural, normal human psychology, and it's fear and greed playing out, being represented in the price action.